Ready in Spanish. This is the Metalhead Alliance interview with my boys from Massachusetts. What part of you guys Massachusetts do you hail from? You say Boston or is it
parts unknown?
Parts unknown.
We say Boston because it's the general middle point.
Everybody knows Boston. This is the groove metal sensation from New England, Death Rattle. We got Ryan. These are guys from walking through from Illusion. We got Ryan, Chris, Donnie, Steve, and Kevin. So thank you guys so much for taking the time. Thanks for coming back to Nashville. First of all, give us a little bit of the feedback of the Degenerate tour as it's gone so far. How has the response been for you guys in the different areas that you've hit so far?
Response has been good. We've had some difficulties, weather difficulties, booking difficulties, cancellations. Yeah. But the shows that we have played have been a handful, but very, very good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Death Rattle, for any metal fan, is a familiar term, but who was the fire to the or who gave oxygen to the fire? Who started Death Rattle? I guess you could say. Who was the founder of the whole thing?
If he didn't want to start a band, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So Ryan's the guilty culprit here.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Okay.
It's a good story too.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the start of Death Rattle.
Back in 2009, I've been sober a couple years at that point. I really want to start a band, and I went to one of 5 Lamb of God shows that year in Oman. I saw them 5 times that year, 4 times in Massachusetts and once in Florida. And the second time I went was only 3 weeks after the first time I saw them. That was the House of Blues in Boston, and I bumped into him. And he kept yelling "Blood of the Scribe," and I'm like, this kid keeps yelling "Blood of the Scribe." And I looked over, he had an autographed drum head in his hand and his long curly hair, and I was like, man, you must play drums. And he's like, yeah, I'm a big fan of Chris Adler. And I remember asking him, I'm like, can you play any of this stuff? He's like, yeah, pretty much, kind of, not dead on. I'm like, are you close? And he's like, yeah, pretty close, I think. I'm like, all right, well, maybe we could jam sometime. We want to start a band. And then, I found out where he lived, and I found out it was 3 hours away. And I was like, that was a bummer to hear that. But anyway, I hounded him for 4 months. Called him, texted him, sent him videos of me playing guitar. I was like, I'll drive up there and jam with you. It took 4 months.
Playing hard to get.
Yeah,
it's classic rock.
I finally drove up there.
Such thing.
I finally drove up there with a half stack and one of my guitars. We played some Lamb of God tunes, and it just went so well from that moment on. And then it didn't take long. It took a month to get Donnie on board finally, and he came in and he started screaming for us. And then it took a little while to get a bass player, and unfortunately we had a lot until we found our final permanent guy.
Okay.
We've been with us a couple of years now.
Number 8.
Special number 8.
So you're
SexyCabinet@TonyBezo.com.
It's my lucky number.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the 8th bass player. So anyway, after that, it just had been, we lived 3 hours apart, and Donnie lived on the Cape where I lived, and so does Kevin. And it just been years of driving up to New Hampshire up until recently. I just moved up there, but these guys still commute. So it's a hike. It's a hike, yeah.
So you guys are doing the whole long distance relationship.
Yeah, a lot of driving. 6 hours. 6 hours. It used to be 6 hours every trip for me.
So how often do you guys get together? I mean, when it comes to like jamming and doing stuff, I mean, how often does that actually happen?
On the weekends, I mean, and it's it's not easy sometimes because I mean, we see a lot of bands. They all live together. They grew up together in high school or whatever, and. Yeah. I think with this situation, you kind of had to, go distances to find the talent, so to speak, and that I think we all recognize that. We all recognize that, from different corners we're able to, pull some talent together, and the travel and distance, it definitely sucks, but it's worth it, man. You know what I mean? There's definitely some magic going on between the 5 of us.
It's a needle in a haystack, we say.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find a really sick drummer too, or even any if people to just work with that are easy to work with.
Especially drumming, though. I mean, with metal, I mean, monsters on the drum set. Someone that can really command the drum set. They're hard to find. And we all know that.
So when you're not touring, respectively, I know Donnie, you're a tattoo artist, right? If you're not out touring and stuff like that, what do you guys respectively do to bring home the bread? What do you guys do for a living?
I'm at home banging nails, man, just like most of the rest of us probably. Just a regular dude, and then on the weekends we get to pretend to be rock stars, which is awesome. Man, banging nails.
And I had done my fair share too of the construction. I just switched to being a tattoo artist.
I remember you
the same thing
put your work in. Steve, what about?
I'm a painter. I work for myself. pretty much.
Okay.
Me and a partner kind of run our own
They
thing.
paint each other's toenails and
Yeah.
I paid
my
silly.
toenails, I'm silly.
The manicures and pedicures, that's your guy.
Painted my car, used the roller, came out beautiful.
He's good, man. Let me tell you.
I'm the best. I'm the best. Jerky boys for you.
Just got into construction not that long ago, so I've been doing that. Before that, I was a cook for 7 years.
Yeah.
So working in the kitchen.
So nobody
man.
goes hungry then. You know?
Yeah.
We ate a lot. Of,
Chris, what's up
we
with
ate a
that?
lot. We have eaten a lot of good meals. We've been lucky. I grew up in the trades, and then I had a fitness business for 5 years, which was doing pretty well. And for the sake of the band, I basically let my fitness business go. So I let a high earning business
Oh wow.
cease. Yeah, it was going really well. Last couple of years was treating me really well, but it was gonna be. I couldn't be so committed to two things,
Wow.
and I just decided I could start a business again sometime down the road.
Wow.
This is my dream, you know. So last year and a half, I've just been banging nails as well, building houses and paintings and whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you guys decide that? I mean, you know, commuting 3 hours one way. You know, you got 6 hours commute on the weekends to jam out. When did you guys decide that Death Rattle was going to become a touring band and that you were actually going to hit the road and do stuff like
That's a
this?
good question. I was hoping you'd ask that because I personally feel, the rest of us feel, we could have started touring a lot sooner. But the circumstances were I think, a little different because at home we were starting to get a lot of success. We had magazine features and we played Mayhem Fest dates and Metal Fest dates and all these things that kind of locked us in and huge shows and all these great things. And we were starting to build a fan base all around, not places we'd never toured to. So we hadn't actually felt the need for it. When those things kind of dried up, it's like, okay, we've kind of accomplished everything we can in our area without leaving. So it kind of got to the point where we have to start leaving, we have to get on the road. And that's why I just started touring late last year.
So it's just pretty much in the last, not even a year ago.
Not even.
Yeah.
I started touring officially 6 months ago.
I think the members, having a solid 5 members in the band too, kind of, delayed that a little bit. You know what I mean? Not having a solid bass player in the first couple of years. Okay, now we've got that. Now we had to bring another guitar player in. To fill in Jimmy's role. It's like
5 years.
Yeah. So getting 5 people on the same page to commit to this band, has been the false starts basically over the past couple of years.
It took a half a decade.
I mean, I know.
Half a decade, literally.
Wow.
I know right now in the past 6 months, even bring into the year. I mean, we feel really good about where we have right now as a 5-piece and together. I mean, we're ready to full charge and command and conquer, man. I mean,
That's awesome. Glad to hear that.
that's what these tours been, touring has been
Yeah,
all
because
about.
this is now your second time just back to Nashville, touring this year.
And we're hoping for at least one more this year.
Well,
Yeah, we'll keep
that's
going.
I
awesome,
was just
man.
ready to keep going, definitely.
Besides the obvious Pantera reference to the name of the band, does it derive from any other source or inspiration?
No, the name was just stumbled upon. I can't remember if I was on the phone with Chris or Jimmy. I used to chew their ear off for hours in the early Death Rattle days. But I remember I had a bunch of guitar books out, and that's how it came out. I had the Reinvent the Steel guitar book,
Mhm.
and it's just flipped over. And I just was looking at Death Rattle. It's a song I've been listening to for 10 years before that.
Sure.
But I saw it, I'm like, man, that'd be a cool name. And I remember pitching it to the guys. We were bouncing around a million names between each other. And when I said Death Rattle, I was like, that's badass. And pretty much I don't think it's weird. I always look back at it. I don't think we ever officially agreed on it. We kind of like, oh, that's awesome. And I think no other ideas came about. And it just kind of became Death Rattle. It didn't really, wasn't like one day we're like, okay, on this day we are named Death Rattle and that's that. It just kind of like, it was the last good presented name. There was some really good presented names, and then I think it just stuck and then that was it.
That's
And it fits too. I mean, there's a philosophy in the band where it's like we're not trying to overdo things and overthink things and these crazy titles. Like that some of these bands have these really long names with that, and that that's cool. That's what they're doing. But I mean, we have a very simple. This is who we are. This is we're not trying to fool anyone or anything like that. I mean, this is the music. The name is simple as can be.
That knows how to do sound.
What's
Is
that?
anyone here that knows how to do sounds?
Oh man.
I mean, I can like move things like
No, he doesn't know how to.
I know how to run a sound.
Okay, what about just hooking, putting the mics to the guitars?
I can help you with that. I can
No one else
yeah.
will show
I don't know what's happened to Nate, and it's not like him.
I can
Maybe
EQ
something
everything
happened.
for you and
I don't
level
know.
for
If
you.
I can't get a hold of him, he's not answering Texas. So let's get everything mic'd. I know how to run the sound.
All right, we'll be in like 2 minutes. We're doing an interview right now on video, so
What?
we're doing a video interview right now. We'll be in 2 minutes.
An interview?
Interview.
Interview.
Right now.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I'll come in 2 seconds.
This guy's shirt rules. Check out this guy's shirt right there.
Fuck everything! Yeah! And this,
We're gonna figure it out.
this is typical of what happens to us. I mean, something happens, problem happens, we gotta roll with it. You know what I mean?
Every
And
single night there's a problem.
some bands will bitch and whine about it, but it's like, that's what we're not gonna do that. We're here to play shows, and whatever we have to do to make it happen, we're gonna make it happen.
That's what's up. We'll wrap it up pretty quick, but each individually, Brian, you play guitar. Where do you? Some of your inspirations. Who do you draw them from? I mean,
Dimebag.
Dime is
Come on,
obvious. He's wearing Pantera shirts.
Dimebag's my hero,
Yeah.
obviously.
Chris, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Chris
any other-
Adler was a huge inspiration in my metal career.
Sure.
He was really one that pulled me in with his unique techniques and everything.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's a monster.
He is.
What is the worst interview question you've ever been asked?
Do you
know how to do sound?
Yeah, do you know how to do sound?
Right.
Yes! That's awesome. Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, I
As a
have a
vocalist.
bunch, but I mean, just a few of the monsters. Like, I actually started screaming, like lyrically doing the screaming. My own was like Corey from Slipknot, Jesse from Killswitch, and Gage, old Killswitch. Obviously, Lamb of God. You know,
Randy.
people tend to hear that too
Sure,
in my
absolutely.
voice or
Yeah, there's
whatever.
a lot of Randy.
And I'd like to say too, in the future stuff we're recording, I've been purposely focusing on trying to have my own sound and build, you know, dynamically with just different ranges and stuff. So look out for that in the future. There's definitely a big difference, I think, in the vocals that you'll hear from the first album recorded to now, what we're going to be putting out soon.
Absolutely.
So,
Awesome.
We can't wait to
Hetfield is my guy.
Yeah.
You know, Hetfield's Tony Iommi. And the first time I met
Sabbath,
Hetfield
baby.
when I was
Sabbath, man.
Sabbath.
That's what's up. Today, the master of the fucking
First time I met Hetfield when I was a little 17-year-old kid. I'm 35. I told him, like, dude, you were my guy. That the reason I'm playing guitar. And he said Tony Iommi was my guy. You know, and then also Pepper Keenan. You know, big COC fan.
COC, man.
Daryl, obviously, but I didn't really learn a lot of Daryl stuff. It was just way too kind of I could never play what Daryl played like Daryl.
Yeah.
So I kind of just would listen to it. So like hearing Ryan play the stuff just like Dime did is like insane. It makes me want to try, but it's still one of those things to me where it's like, dude, he's like up here.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100,000,000% Rob Flynn from Machine Head.
That's
Really,
good. That's good.
the
Yeah.
album, I got into them like right before More Things Change came out.
Sure.
And I mean, the mid 90s or so, they really shaped my playing a lot and throughout their career, especially now that like Demolition's been in the band for like a decade now.
Right.
I love his playing. I mean, those guys really kind of like fire under the ass as far as my playing goes. I mean, those are definitely like my top guys. And then I have all the other dudes that I like, you know, B.B. King just passed away, like big, you know, kind of like
Yeah, there's so many icons.
You know, I'm not strictly a metal guy. I listen to everything from Prince to Slayer and everything in between. You know what I mean? So, well, I mean, as far as like my top, it'd be like Hetfield and Rob Flynn. So.
Yeah.
It starts with me with Metallica and Cliff Burton. Pulling Teeth, Anesthesia. That's the first thing that really got me into playing bass, and it made me love playing the bass, which is, you know, an amazing thing. And then Mudvayne and Tool, and you know, those. I mean, especially Tool's my favorite band, but I mean those three bands right there, early Metallica, Cliff Burton, Mudvayne, and Tool. I feel like, you know, the combination of those three bass influences have inspired me and influenced me in a lot of ways. Cliff Burton more inspirational because I think he's a hard guy to follow, basically playing wise, you know.
Absolutely. That's great. What would you say has been the highlight for Death Rattle so far? Like, what would you say is, as far as the pinnacle for Death Rattle playing a show or whatever? What would you say is like, when you look back and you think, yeah, so far this has been the greatest thing?
I think everyone's gonna have a different opinion
Yeah,
on that,
totally.
but there's always gonna be a few that we all can agree on, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's too many to pick from, personally.
If you had to say that one everybody would agree on, what would you
What?
think? What do you
As
think?
the top or a top?
A top.
I mean, our Mayhem Fest days
Mayhem
are
Fest,
unbelievable.
yeah,
You know.
that's probably pretty iconic.
just
I would
because
say.
it's well known
It
as
is,
like
it
the
is.
biggest metal fest now.
We were also last year. We're lucky enough to play the Trocadero in Philadelphia for Summer Slaughter,
yes.
and as huge Lamb of God fans
Yeah,
to play the
that's
Trocadero.
iconic. Yeah, they recorded Philadelphia.
Yeah, so
there,
that you know, if I had to pick one, I'd say that's my favorite show we've ever played, just because the history of it, not necessarily because there's as many people.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna have just a couple more questions to get onto the show tonight. Ryan, who would you as an individual, who would you like to share the stage with? Whether it be Death Rattle or just yourself, who would you like to be sharing the stage with, playing a show with?
I would have to say, band, the biggest, Lamb of God would be a dream come true, because that's the big, that's our biggest influence that's playing today, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd love to also play with Machine Head, would be a dream come true.
Yeah.
Hoping that can happen someday.
Oh, yeah.
Chris?
Well, yeah, just about the same answers, man. It's just so many common threads here, you know. It's
Yeah,
my
there's definitely a lot of heavy influences.
Definitely Lamb of God.
I mean, I guess I'll say I've played with a lot of the people that I would wanted to share the stage already at this point too. We've
Heavy,
done
yeah.
Unearth, like Born Osiris, is like
Yeah.
some heavy bands that I like Amur, we've Mayhem Fest, that whole laundry list, like
Yeah.
a Monomarth.
Kind of played with Machine Head, man.
But
Yeah.
They were there.
We played a different stage.
They played with you guys.
But yeah, but if I guess, same, likewise, obviously Lamb of God and all that, but like again, Kill Switch Engage from the Sugar, that'd be another couple that I'd love to do.
Throwing down Machine Head would just be absolutely awesome. I would love that. That would be a really, really fun time. And then probably like my brothers and I will be done from back home.
Fuck yeah.
That
Yeah.
would,
Love them.
I would
So
Love
underappreciated, I think.
They're unbelievable, man.
You
They
know,
kick.
I've seen them once, and they absolutely
just
killed it.
kick
I'm just
so
like, where
much
are these
ass.
guys now? Like,
They kick so much ass.
They're doing a new album and they're just wait for it. It's gonna be awesome.
Sweet.
It's
Yeah,
good, yeah.
trust me.
Simple. I mean, Lamb of God is a common thread with all of us, and I think that would be a dream come true for all of us. And then I mean, if I think we could just get that, I'd be totally cool. But I mean, if you could throw in Mudvayne and Slipknot too, that'd be awesome.
Maybe Slipknot, I don't know about Mudvayne.
Yeah, we'll
Pray to be preoccupied with some other.
Yeah, we're gonna pray to the metal gods for that one.
Where do you see Death Rattle in the next 5 years?
Fucking on the road, man.
On the
A
road.
lot of
On the
road
road.
time.
On the road.
On the road in the bus, hopefully.
And then, last but not least, we talked a little bit earlier about new Death Rattle. If you can say anything about it, when do you think we can expect some new shit from Death Rattle?
Not to jump the gun, I'd say early fall.
Yeah, for this
Yeah,
year?
early fall.
That's what we all want. That's
Yeah,
good.
should be fall, maybe late fall. We'll see. We still have half the albums recorded right now.
Sweet. So,
It's all there. It's the structure, the framework is all there. The power from the playing all these shows is there, and we're just just trying to capture that. And I know we've all been talking about it on tour. We're really excited about it coming out. We feel like that is it's really gonna be our debut, and it's here we are. I mean, we've been here running around and doing things and shows like that, and it's like we want to get that out and then hit it as hard as we can. And
well, we're looking
never give
forward
up
to
on
it.
it.
We're looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
We're about to tear it up tonight.
Yeah.
Nashville's in for a treat. I know that. Thank you guys all so much for
Jesse.
taking the
Jesse,
time.
thank you.
Thank you guys
Thank you,
so much.
Jesse.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, man.
All right.
Rock on.